Alright, welcome back to Trouble with Tish. I am Tish, and I be Trouble. Today, I am going to be going through as many palettes as I possibly can, and I'm going to be going through them kind of alphabetically.
Troubles on the mind, hands around your throat, out in open waters trying to stay afloat. Remember to forget the future and the past.
So, this is everything I have in the A's, and I'm going to start with these two palettes. These are from Ambydollish. That is the Baylet's Party. It has a pressed glitter in it. I don't know if I want to declutter these or not. I have not decided. I don't want the glitters. So I was thinking maybe what I would do is their mattes and their shimmers are really good. So I was thinking maybe what I would do is depot the shades I like and get rid of the glitters. My sister would love the glitters. So I'm going to put these in a maybe pile for now. Alright, then I got this palette, and it is the Monopop eyeshadow palette from Avon in Mood Coral, and I got this from Renee, and it is really pretty. It's neutral. It's really good for if I was to travel, so I'm going to keep this. Then we have the Asgard Queen. It's I can't read the language. I was really excited to try this company, but the shades came shattered and there wasn't a lot of shade to repress, so I ended up with mostly empty pans. Not that the pans were too full to begin with. Not only that, but these shades were not actually what I ordered, and when I went and I emailed the company, they said it's exactly what I ordered, and when I sent them swatches, they said no, it's the lighting, and yeah, it wasn't the lighting. So I'm going to declutter this because I don't like the company no more. Then we have the Riviera palette from ABH, and I got this, where did I get this from? TJ Maxx. I haven't gotten a chance to use it yet, so I'm going to keep this. Then we have the Temptress palette from Alter Ego. It's a nice cool toned palette. I will be keeping that. Then I have the Harmony palette from Alter Ego. These are all dupes for something. Not that I know what they're dupes for, but they're really pretty. I'm going to be keeping that. This is the Canyon palette from Alter Ego. I will be keeping that. And then I have the Artemis palette. However, I have this one, and I also have this one. So I will be decluttering this one and keeping this one. And I have the Scarlet Dusk from Ace Beauty. The Falling For You, also from Ace Beauty. I also have the Nostalgia palette. I got these all through like BoxyCharm or something. This is the only one I ordered from the actual site, and this is the Tropical Vibes palette. I ended up actually getting the whole set. Then I have from Adept the Amulet New palette. I just got this, and this is it's this palette. Arrow Inspired, is that the name of this? But those are beautiful shades. And then last but not least, out of my A category, I have the Norvina Volume 1. I will be keeping that. Alright, this is my pile from the bees. Alright, we'll start out with my Beauty Bay palettes. Now this is the Beauty Bay Nikki Tutorials palette, and I got this from Zeesea, and it is beautiful. I'm keeping that. And then this is the Fiery palette, which I got for Christmas from my husband, and I wanted to compare it to the Pricked palette from Jeffree Star, and this is the Bright palette from Beauty Bay, and I'm also keeping this. Alright, then we have my Blend Bunny Blends palette, and I am keeping that. I have the Dollhouse palette, and I'm keeping that. I love that. I have the Surge palette, which I got from Renee, and I'm also keeping that. Totally forgot. I also got this from Beauty Bay. It is the Disney Color Collection mini palettes. This is the Alice in Wonderland, the Dumbo, and the Jungle Book. I will be keeping these as well. Alright, then I have a couple here. The Be Bella Champagne Kisses 1. And I am not a fan of the way that those pans are. So I'm going to declutter this one. And I got this from TJ Maxx. This is the Bebe Shine 15 Shadow Palette, which I have not gotten a chance to use yet. Alright, then from BH, I have the Glam Reflection Smoke Palette and the Gilded palette. I think I'm going to get rid of this one. Then we have the Solar Flare. These are baked eyeshadows. The Galaxy Chic. And the Supernova. And I am going to get rid of all of these. Alright, then I have some random stuff here. From Butter London. I don't know what the name of this palette is. Oh, Natural Goddess. Here we go. I got this from Debbie. It's the Becca Pearl Glow Shimmering Eye Palette. And it has some beautiful shades. I'm going to keep that. This is from Bunky Beauty. She just shut down her shop. These are some beautiful shades. It's unfortunate that she shut her shop down. They're beautiful. And this is Beauty Creations. We have Esmeralda and Esmeralda 2. And I think I'm going to get rid of both of these. Alright, and then we have the Hello Charmer from BoxyCharm. I'm going to keep that. And then we have the Urban Myth palette from Black Moon Cosmetics. This is the cover. She's beautiful. Alright, it's the category of C. Alright, first off we have ColourPop. This is the Dream of Big collection. We have It's My Pleasure, Blue Moon, Just My Luck, Honey, Orange You Glad, and Main Squeeze. And I am going to be decluttering this whole collection. I have a friend who I want to give this to, looking to explore color. Alright, then we have the 5 Pan High Society. And this pretty green. I'm going to keep that. Then we have some more from ColourPop. We have the Tinkerbell Sprinkle a Little Magic. We have the Star Wars Mandalorian palette. Oh, this is the child palette. This is the Mandalorian. And this is the Darth Vader. And I'm going to be keeping all of those. Then we have the Gather Round Sisters. The In the Springs. The Menage a Moi. The Boudoir Noir. And the At Forest Sight with Raw Beauty Christie. Alright, then we have the, from Colored Rain, we have the Queen Bee palette. This is the Rose Garden from Colored Rain. And the Botanical. And we have from Complex Culture, this is Futures So Bright. Alright, then we have the Futures So Bright Edit 1, the Futures So Bright Edit 2, and the Futures So Bright Edit 3. I will be keeping all of those. Then we have from CxC Beauty, this is the purple palette, but it came a little damaged, the Get Lucky palette, and it's beautiful, but I'm keeping those. From Copacetic Cosmetics, we have the Spelunking palette. We have the Zeesea London Spice Palette, and I got dirt all over it. That is what that looks like. Alright, from Cosmic Brushes, I have the Serenity palette and the Muse palette, which I am obviously keeping. From Cursed Cosmetics, we have the Paranormal palette. And I'm going to declutter this. And I also have the Spellbook, which I will also declutter. Alright, and this is from the Collective Cosmetics. It's the In My Mind's Eye palette. And that is very beautiful. And I will be keeping that. Alright, we have a very small pile for the category of D. We have Dose of Colors Blushing Berries. And while that's all matte, I don't have a problem with that. This is the Declutter Freematic Eyeshadow Pro Palette, Smoky Eye Finish. I think I'm gonna pass this along to my niece. I think she will really like that. Alright, and then from Dominique Cosmetics, we have the Celestial Thunder, which I got from Renee. And I will be keeping that. Now, I just ran into a couple that I totally forgot. This is the BH Moroccan Sunset. And I am going to be passing this along to my sister. We got the Crown Pro, which I am also going to be passing to my sister. And the Meet Matte Tremoni. And I will be passing that along to my sister as well. Alright, for the E category, we have these e.l.f. bite-sized palettes. This is Very Bad, Rose Water, Pumpkin Pie, Hot Jalapeno, which I got from Rhonda Said, the Acai EU, the Mint To Be, and the Chocolate Mint, which is not even open. I'm definitely going to declutter the mint ones. I'm also going to declutter the Acai EU. I'm going to keep the Hot Jalapeno because that's amazing. I am going to get rid of the Pumpkin Spice. And I'm going to keep the Rose Water and the Very Bad. I didn't think I was going to do that. Alright, then we have the Sahara Nights from Eloise. And that is all shimmers. I think I'm going to declutter this one. And then we have the Venice Fling Bailey Sarian and a State. And I did not like this. I'm going to pass this along to a friend who's been waiting very patiently for it. Alright, and for F's. The F category. We have 50/50, which I believe is now closed. This is the Autumn palette. And this is the Winter palette. And I'm going to keep both of those. Alright, and then from Fantasy Cosmetica, we got the Druid palette, which was her first one. And we all can see why I picked this one up. And then she came out with the Sorcerer palette. And then she came out with the Bard palette. I believe that's the order in which they came out. She came out with a new one as well, but I haven't picked that one up yet. But I fully intend to. I'm also keeping those. Alright, this is all of my palettes starting with a G. Before I get started with that, I found another Violet Voss, or no, Ace Beauté Violet Sage. First, we have the Cake palette. And I keep all the packaging for my Glam Light if I can. Then we have the Michaela Pot 2. And I won this from Beauty and More with Renee. I won the whole PR kit. This is the Glam Donut. It's a little hard to get out of the package. And then those are the shades. Alright, then we have the other Michaela Pot 2. This is the fuzzy one. And this was part of that PR package that I won from Renee. This is the Dirty Martini. And we all know why I got that one. Look at all the greens. Alright. Then I have these two Peach Slices. This one is the Meat Lovers, which I got from Debutante. And those are the shades. And this is the Veggie Lover. Obviously keeping all of those. Then I have from Glaminatrix, I have the Nocturnal palette. And the Nearly Natural, which I am also keeping, even though it's a neutral palette. Like, that's my kind of neutral palette. That's beautiful. And then we have Gourmand Girls. I no longer support Gourmand Girls, so I will be throwing out all of these. I will be keeping the That Time of Year palette, however. I just won't be showcasing it on my channel. And the only reason I'm keeping this one is because it is a collaboration with 3 of the most amazing women I know here on YouTube. Debutante, Zeesea, and the Brutally Honest Beauty, who everybody else knows as Riri. I will not be showcasing it, but I will not get rid of it. Now, as for these palettes, we have the Galactic Gourmand, the Ethereal, and the Radioactive. I will be depotting these, and I will be forgetting the name of the company. Alright, for the H category, we have the Hip Dot Zion palette. I think I'm going to get rid of this one. Then we got the, oh, wow, English, words are hard. Glam Room number 1 from House Laboratories. I got this from Zeesea, and I'm going to keep that one. And then we have 3 from Huda Beauty. We have the Emerald Obsessions. We have the Ruby Obsessions. And the Coral Obsessions. And I'm going to keep all of these. Then we have the eye category. We have the Sunday Brunch palette from IBY. And I think I'm going to declutter this one. We have the It's Belle Break the Rules palette. And that is not going anywhere. It's stunning. We have the Illamasqua Unveiled Artistry palette. I think I'm going to get rid of this one. And then we have the iconic London Sunset to Sunrise. I think I'm also going to get rid of this one. Alright, we have our J category. That is all my Jeffree Star. First we have the... I also keep all the packaging for my Jeffree Star palettes, if I can. This is the Bloodlust palette. Keeping that. Of course, I don't think I'll be getting rid of any of my Jeffree Star palettes. Then we have the Pricked palette, one of my favorite palettes from Jeffree Star. Then we have the Alien palette, which I bought from a girl here on YouTube, Melissa. Then we have my Trunk palettes. This is my very first palette from Jeffree Star. Conspiracy palette from the Shane Dawson collection. Then I got Blood Sugar. And then this one, the Blood Money. I bought this on the way to have surgery. I had my husband drive, and I took his credit card and ordered that. Then we have his older palettes. We have Androgyny, the original Beauty Killer, the Thirsty. Then from Rhonda Said, I bought the Mini Breaker and the Mini Controversy, the original one. And then I made my husband buy me the Weirdo palette. Alright, then I have from Juvia's Place, the Rebel Army, which I think I'm going to get rid of. I thought it was something other than that when I bought it. I have the Allure 3. I have the Nomad, Saharan 2, which I'm going to declutter. The Festival, which I'm also going to declutter. We have the Nubian 2, which I'm also going to declutter. and the Wahala, which I am also going to declutter. And there's a reason I'm decluttering these, and that is because my sister has a friend who is actually looking for some palettes from Juvia's Place, and well, I have some, so I'm going to share. Then we have the case. From Cab Cosmetics, we have the Day and Night. And I think I'm going to get rid of this. I have a lot of similar palettes. Alright, and then from Kaleidos, this is the Futurism 3 Astro Pink. This is the Flower Punk. And then the Club Nebula. And I am keeping all of those. And we have some elves. First off, we have Lucky Bunny, and they were closing. So this is the Greed palette. The Wrath palette, and the Gluttony palette. I am not sure about these. I'm going to put them to the side in a maybe pile. Alright, then we have the accessories palette from Lele Posh. I'm going to put that in a maybe pile as well. Then we have Lethal is Dead from Lethal Cosmetics, and they collabed with Teresa is Dead. It's a very beautiful palette. Then we have the Laura Sanchez Moods palette. I'm going to be decluttering this. I've gotten this palette like 4 different times, and I've decluttered it every time. And then from Debutante, I got this Lurella Rockin' Moroccan palette. And that is what that looks like. Alright, so this is all the palettes I have that begin with M. Oh, except for these 3. This is another Ace Beauté, and this is the Classical Paradise. This is the Abby Y Fireside, and that is that. And I'm going to be passing that along to my sister. And this is the Laura Geller Cinnamon and Spice. I got this from Renee's Declutter, so I could try it out. Let me grab it from her. And I was not exactly a fan of such light colors, but my sister will definitely be. So I will pass that along to her. Now for the M's. Oh, I guess this isn't M's. I guess this would be L's because it's Lunar Beauty, not many anyway. So this is Lunar Beauty, which I guess would go with the last. This is the Moon Spell palette. And this is the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism palette, which I got from BoxyCharm. Alright, and then we have Morphe, and we'll start off with the Morphe Mani palette. And I will be getting rid of this. I've gotten rid of this a couple of times. Alright, then we have the Morphe Jeffree Star palette, which I got right before they discontinued it. Then we have the My Straight Morphe, oh wait, no, we have the Morphe James Charles palette, and that is what that looks like. Not a fan of James Charles. I think for now I will keep it because my husband bought it for me, but I'm definitely not going to be showcasing it on my channel. Alright, and then we have the Morphe 9G. And I got this from Shelly, along with this one, which is the Boss Mood 35M. Oh, this is the Oh My Gorge 9G. I was wondering why I was missing the Morphe palette. I forgot my everyday makeup drawer. This is the Fall Into Frost 35F. It is my most used palette, surprisingly enough. I got this one from Joe Just Joe. It is the Stunning Vibes 35V, and I've lost a few shades, unfortunately. And then I got this Hey Girl Hey 25C, which is also pretty, but I feel like it has a lot of the same colors as these 2 palettes. So I think I am going to pass this along to somebody who will get some use out of it. Alright, and the other 2 palettes that are my everyday makeup drawer are the KKW Camo palette. And this is the Glamistry Beauty Girl Code palette. I got this on the recommendation of Beauty and More with Renee. All right, and this is the Model's Own Wonderland eyeshadow palette. I believe I got this from my cousin Amy. I'm going to put that in the maybe pile. I don't know about that. We also have one more Morphe palette. It's the Jaclyn Hill Armed and Gorgeous palette. This is the Bold Obsessions from Milani, and that is what that looks like. I think I'm going to pass this along. Well, it still has some life left in it. Alright, this is the Millen Rowe Doodle Poison Ivy collaborated with Doodles by the Bunny. I bought the palette and I never used it, but it is pretty green, so I will have to try this soon. Alright, then we have from Zeesea Cosmetics. It's the Artistry Palette Volume 2. And of course, got that for the greens. And then we have the Volume 1. Because I showed those out of order. And then this is the Genesis, where they collaborated with Drench Cosmetics, which is very beautiful. And then this is the Serenity palette from Menagerie, collaboration palette with Annette. And then I have from Martine Cosmetics, I have the 669 palette. Very dark and grungy, very beautiful. Alright, then I have some Melt palettes. I have the Bad Side Zodiac, the Fire palette. I have the 27 palette. I have the Mary Jane. I have the Gemini. And the Gemini 2. Alright, these are all my N palettes. First off, we have the NARS Climax palette. We have the Notoriously Morbid Dapper Darklings palette, and that is the cover. And those are the shades. Alright, then we have the Natasha Denona palettes. We have the Love palette, which I got from Renee. I got the Zendo palette from a BoxyCharm order. And then the Retro Glam palette. And then I have these. This is the number 5 palette, which I'm going to put in the Use It or Lose It. We have the Peak palette, the Cupid palette, the Coral palette, and the Cranberry palette. And these are all magnetic. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to depot these and put them all in the same magnetic palette. Seems like it's a pretty cohesive color story, so I think that is what I'm going to do. Put it all together and make it one. Alright, and then we have my Nomad collection. This is the Santa's Village. Then we have the very first one I got, which is the Berlin Underground. I got this from Linda Skidmore. Then I got the Hudson Valley. I got the Cartagena Magica. I got this from BoxyCharm. And I got the Haunted Europe palette. And it has a lenticular cover. And that is the color story. And this is the Verona Amore Immorta. Alright. These palettes are my O's. We have, oh, this is a K, because it's Kai Cosmetics. Okay, we'll do this real quick. This is the Olive You from Kai Cosmetics. This is the Tropical Dreams from OPV. And the Spotlight, also from OPV. And then we have my Ofra palettes. This is the Symphony palette. And the Good to Go palette, which I got from Joe, just Joe. And we have Odin's Eye. This is the Erd palette. And I tried this palette. It wasn't exactly a fan. I'm going to put this in the Use It or Lose It. Alright, then we have the Freya palette. I got this from Senya. This is the Hummingbird palette with Tina from the Fancy Face. And this is the Hella palette. And this is the collaboration with Angelica. Alright, these are my palettes that start with P. We're going to start off over here with the Profusion palettes. Alright, so we have the 1010 palettes. We have the Fuchsia palette, the Mauves palette, the Meadow palette. We have the Rubies palette, the Neon palette, and the Emeralds palette. And I'm going to keep the Emeralds and the Meadows and the Mauves and the Fuchsia. I'm going to declutter the Neon and the Rubies. I have a second Fuchsia palette for some reason, so I will pass that along so somebody else can get use out of it. And I have the Violets, the Smoky, and the Citrine. I'm going to pass on the Violets. I have a lot of purple. I'm going to keep the Smoky and the Citrine. Alright, then we have these guys. This is the Mixed Metals Glam, and I will be keeping that one. Then we have the Glam. I think my niece will actually enjoy that as well as this one, which is the Hollywood. This is the Pro Pigment. I'm going to declutter this one and pass it along. Alright, we have the Festival and the Starlet, and I'm going to keep both of those. We have the Mirage and the Paradise. I'm going to keep both of those. And then I have the Sunkissed, and I'm definitely keeping that because, you know, that row right there. Alright, we have Peachy Queen Tarot, the Lovers. And I will declutter this one. And the Parental Advisory, Explicit Content. The only reason I was keeping this was because, you know, the shade names are amazing. But I don't support the brand any longer, so I will be passing those along. Alright, then we have from Pinky Rose Cosmetics, we have the 80s Baby, the Obsessed, and the Center Stage. I think I'm going to declutter all of these. I have so many palettes. Alright, then we have Phase Zero, the Necessities. And I'm going to pass this one along to my sister. Those are perfect colors for her. Alright, then we have from Pariah House, the Alyssa Skews palette. The Strange and Unusual palette. And my favorite, the Gone Grunge palette. And I will not be getting rid of any of my Pariah House. Then from Pure, I have the Raw Beauty Christie collab. I got this from Beauty and More with Renee. It was my very first friend mail, and it is beautiful, and I cannot get rid of it. And then I have these. These are the holiday palettes from Pat McGrath. And these are from the last 3 years. This is the Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity. This is the Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey. And this last year's is the Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana. Alright, I found this Pat McGrath. This is the Eye Ecstasy Subversive. I got this from Zeesea. Alright, this is from Rare Beauty. It is the Confident Energy palette. And those are the shades. This is the Revolution Corpse Bride. I got this from Beauty and More with Renee. This is the I Heart Revolution Fortune Seeker. And those are the shades. I think I'm going to pass that along. Alright, I have the Revolution Forever Flawless. And the Revolution Chilled with Cannabis Sativa. And I'm keeping both of those. And my S's. Okay, we will start off with Shine by SD. I made an order from this company. I ordered this palette here. I had to take one shade out. It was a flaky shade. And it came busted. everything I got from this company came busted. And when I contacted the owner, they said, well, you didn't pay the extra $3 for your insurance, so we can't help you. This is the Vibes palette. Not only do the palettes fall apart, but so do the shades. This shade came broken. I will be decluttering this palette. I have no use for it. Then I got this glitter palette, and everything came busted. I will also be getting rid of that one. I'm going to keep this one and put it in my use it or lose it and see if I can use it for something. Alright, and then we have the She Glam palettes. This is the Virtuous Virgo palette. It's nice greens. It's the only green palette I've ever seen for a Virgo, so I had to get it. Then we have the Chromosome palettes. There is that one and this one, and I got it in a set. Then we have Sigil Inspired by Tammy Tenuka. You can no longer get these if you live in the US. The only way you can get them is if you have a Russian bank account, which I do not. So unfortunately, I can no longer get these. Now, I don't know what these are called. I just call this the Lily Pad. And those are the shades. Very beautiful. This is the Peacock, and those are the shades. And she has bigger shades. I've got so much makeup, I thought, okay, well, I'll get the smaller shades, and then I won't feel so bad if I don't use the whole thing. And this is the Chinchilla. And I will be keeping all of those. Alright, this is Shroud Cosmetics. It's Freaking Bats. And it is the collaboration palette with Batty Bean. Then we have Sydney Grace, the Be Mine palette. Then we have Saint Angels Sinners, and this is the Follow Your Dreams. It is the palette that she did in collaboration with Smink Baronda. Very beautiful. However, I do not support a company that bullies people at all. So I'm going to be tossing this. Alright, then we have the Support System from Star Gems Cosmetics, and this is a company I can get behind. It's a beautiful company. This is the Support System palette. I think I'm going to be getting rid of this particular palette just because I have this one. I feel like I don't need both. And this is Ode to the Oracles, and it is beautiful. So I'm going to pass this along to somebody who will be able to show it some love, and I will keep this one. Great company, though. And then we have Sugar Drizzle. And of course, the only reason I got anything from Sugar Drizzle is because of this palette. Man, I love frogs. And of course, the Pickle palette. This is the Pickle palette. Beautiful. This is the original Sugar Drizzle palette. And this is the MILF palette. Man, I love frogs. And we are into the teas. We are almost home stretch, man. This is the Glam palette. It's a palette that is supposed to be, I believe, a copy or a dupe of the Love palette, which I have. So I will be checking out to see if, oh, maybe it's supposed to be the Retro palette. I don't have that one. But it's still pretty. I got it from Temu. And from what I understand, that the quality of these shadows is pretty good. So why not? This is the Midnight Deseos by CxC Beauty. I am trying to figure out why I have this, but I think I'm going to pass it along. It is a bit bland. Then I have the Tartiste Pro Remix from Tarte. It smells good. Oh boy, does it smell good. Alright. And I got this Cinnamon Swirl palette last year because I wanted to see if it smelled like cinnamon. It does. So then when I saw this on sale, it says Sweet Peach. It says supposed to smell like peaches. It kind of does in a chemical-y way. Alright, we are on to our use. Alright, to start off we have Urban Decay Naked Wild West. My husband bought this for me for Christmas. This is from Ulta, and this came from my youngest son. This is what he bought me for Christmas. Those are blushes, bronzer, highlighter, all of the nice shades. We got some eyeliners here, some brow wax, brow pomade, and that is what my son bought me for Christmas, and we will not be getting rid of that. We're keeping that. Alright, then we have Ucanbe Splashy Candies, and it is supposed to be a dupe for the ColourPop monochromatic palettes. It's not, but it's fun. And then I saw this on Senia's channel. It says, I mean, really? It's the Ucanbe collaboration with Anwen. It's the cellophane, and the shades are very, very beautiful. This is the Twilight Dusk palette from Ucanbe. And it's supposed to be a dupe for some Natasha Denona palette, I'm sure. Maybe a Huda palette. Alright, these are all of my unearthly palettes. They used to be called Alien Cosmetics. So some of these will say Alien as opposed to Unearthly. This is the Rudo Rawame palette. This is a collaboration with Chippo Gray. And look at the shades. They are stunning. Such a beautiful, beautiful palette chip. This is the Lore palette. It says Alien Cosmetics, but again, it is Unearthly. I got this for my birthday from Debutante. This is the Witching Hour palette. And I could take those shades out and put them in another palette, but why would I? Look at the palette cover. It's great. This is the Poison Apple palette. Beautiful, beautiful. And this is the Serendipity palette. Alright, we're going to move on to our V's. This is the Violet Sunset palette. And I think I'm going to declutter this. This is the All of You Forever from Violet Voss. I'm going to keep that. This is the Oh Snap. The Wild Dahlia. Alright, and then we have Viseart. We have this one I got from Zeesea. This is the Petite Pro Trois, whatever it is. It's pretty. And those are the shades. We're keeping that. This is the Viseart Neutral Matte palette. Alright, these are my W palettes. This is my Wonder Woman palette that I got from Joe. I keep it in its box because, yeah, I can't bring myself to use it. It's awesome. It's Wonder Woman. I can't use it. And this is the Blood Moon palette from Wednesday Cosmetics. I love this palette so much. I spilled water on a couple of the shades, and it hard panned, and I was so devastated. So I went and I bought another one. So I'm going to declutter this one, and I'm going to keep this one. And these are my Z palettes. We're at the end. Alright, my Z palettes. Alright, we have Zoeva Spice of Life. There's that. The Zoeva Aristo palette. And I'm going to get rid of this one. And this is the Zoeva Opulence palette. I think I'm going to pass this along too. Alright, then we have my Zeesea. Just going to let you know now, I'm probably not going to get rid of any of these. Alright, we have the sugar skull, the cat, the pharaoh, the quail, I think. This is the British Museum pharaoh, the ankh, the scarab, sphinx. It doesn't want to. And the snake. Then we have the Alice in Wonderland. This is one of the collection. This is the third one in the collection. Then we have these little baker ones. This is the cupcake palette. The pudding palette. The ice cream palette. And the macaron palette. Then we have this one. This is like a, I think it's the Palace Identity Royal Bloom. Alright, and then this is the Nutcracker from the Nutcracker PR package. We have this one and this one. I think I'm actually going to pass both of these along. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I am going to send these to my sister. I think these would go, I think she would really like these. And she used to watch the Nutcracker all the time. So, kind of should be nostalgic for her. So this is my eyeshadow palette collection. I have zero clue how much I decluttered and how much I kept. I will count this up and I will get back to you. I totally forgot about the maybe pile. So I think I figured out what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this one, this one, this one, and this one into a use it or lose it. And then I'm going to take these two and this one, and I'm going to depot them and chuck the glitters. Alright, so now I will get those numbers for you. Alright, so you should have already seen the numbers. At this point you know more than I do because I just turned around and hit record again. Anyways, next up will be my singles, my pressed pigments. So I will probably do that at a later date. I have to get this into the editing program and edit this out and get this out real quick. If you like this kind of video, sometimes we do unboxings, sometimes we do hauls, sometimes we do get ready with me's, and sometimes we just goof off on a live. And if you want to join all of the shenanigans we have going on over here, then hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Go ahead and like the video or dislike it. I don't really care which one you do. It's not going to show me if you dislike it though, which is weird. Because, you know, you would think you would want to know if people don't like what you're putting out, but whatever. If you like it, I'll see it. Anyways, you know, like, comment, subscribe to all the good YouTube-y stuff. I hope every single one of you has an absolutely amazing day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
Troubles on the mind, hands around your throat, out in open waters trying to stay afloat. Troubles on the mind, hands around your throat, out in open waters trying to stay afloat.